Welcome to your Daily 5 for Thursday, June 26th, 2025. I came across an article over on Ars Technica, which I really wasn't all that inclined to talk about, but I started thinking about some of the contents of it and what certain people were saying in it. So this relates to, apparently there is an ongoing case between OpenAI, who makes ChatGPT, and a consolidation, I think, of different newspapers or news organizations, chiefly New York Times is named here, where they are alleging that the tool allows for plagiarism of copyrighted news items. And there was a ruling apparently back on June 6th that I don't even remember hearing about, where a judge told OpenAI that they were to keep indefinitely all ChatGPT logs on anything because they might pertain to this ongoing case. And a number of users panicked over that. Apparently, a pair tried to sue to overturn the decision of the judge. Both of those suits, or whatever they were, filings, were rejected. The judge, the actual title of the article that caught my interest this week was, "Judge Denies Creating Mass Surveillance Program Harming All ChatGPT Users." And one of the people who filed one of these things said something along the lines of, I've told ChatGPT really personal and sensitive stuff about myself, and I didn't think it was going to be retained, so this is going to harm me." Now, I don't mean to mock too much when I say that, because there are many people saying, yes, this does effectively create a privately held mass surveillance program. So there is definitely a debate to be had over whether this judge's order is going to be harmful in its current structure. But on the other side, when I see somebody who says, I was asking this tool things and I was telling it really personal stuff that I don't want to be retained by the company, I have to admit there's a part of me that says, what did you think you were doing? This is, I guess, just how people are now, because to me, anytime you are using a system where you do not have a reasonable expectation that sensitive data is going to be handled responsibly, and I don't know what argument you can make that any of these current companies with these chatbots have any real guarantees in place, because so much is fluid and moving. This is not a settled industry. We don't even know what all the case law or permanent law around these companies and their bots is going to be. So no matter what they can tell you in a terms of service, no matter what they may tell you in writing, in an email, in a support log, or whatever, you can't rely on any of this. So any company, especially ones as new as this, where there is so much law that still has to be determined, you need to treat any piece of information that you're providing to these companies the same way that you would treat your social security number, or whatever the equivalent is if you're not in the US, with a person you've never met before. If you are not comfortable turning over your social security number to a person you just met off the street, don't be turning any of it over to any of these companies. Because honestly, whether they're actually working from an ethical standpoint or not, and I seriously doubt any of them are, even if they are going into this with the best intentions, there is no way to know that a year from now, there will not be some court order like this or a lawsuit that will overturn whatever protections they would have guaranteed because they were operating outside of established law. Do not be feeding these machines anything you're not comfortable with a stranger knowing. And it's just astonishing to some degree, although not surprising, that I would even have to say that out loud. Because again, these companies are in the middle of, I don't even know how many lawsuits. This is a brand new sector relatively. We don't really know what even the tools themselves are doing with this data. So no matter what guarantees or securities they may offer, I'm telling you right now that even the people within these companies who understand these things top to bottom the best will probably not really be able to tell what they're going to do with them or what the law around them will be even a few months from now. So again, I look at this and I think, why would you ever have fed these machines? Even if it's promising anonymity, whatever that promise even means, why would you feed these machines anything that you are not comfortable that could be retained or used in a lawsuit, which it very likely could now? There may be a discovery where a lot of this stuff comes out and people may not be happy about it, but you know what? You should never have fed it in there in the first place. To some degree, I blame the users in this case, at least partially, because again, I don't care what they tell you. Remember, these things are too new. They're too ungoverned. Don't trust them with anything you wouldn't trust to a stranger. Later.